My mission with, well, basically this YouTube channel is making the world sound better one step at a time. And the way that I want to do that is first by educating everybody, and the other way is by kind of forcing better products and connected to that better marketing. And sometimes this doesn't really work out and I get into a bit of trouble, and sometimes this actually works out. And whenever I find flaws in a product, I would like to encourage developers to fix the flaws. And I think that with my influence, it's more than fair that whenever a product gets fixed or improved, that I make another video about it. And this has happened in the past, and today it has happened with Thickify from a company called Rocket Powered Sound. And today I want to take a look at the improvements and promises that they have made. So let's get started. Alright, so a few months ago I made a video about Thickify, which I will link over here. And apart from the plugin being a bit scarce in terms of features and options, lacking oversampling, auto-gaining, that kind of stuff, their marketing was also kind of annoying. And when I published that video, I got an email from Shane, who is the CEO of Rocket Powered Sound, basically saying that my video was very helpful and refreshing for him and that he wanted to do better. And usually I'm not really disclosing email contact, but I want to disclose this list that he gave me in the email, which is both the new features in the plugins and also some promises. And by disclosing this list, we can keep Rocket Powered Sound to their promises. So the first thing is auto gain, which is now included in the plugin, which is kind of surprising because every time I talk about auto gain, there are always a few developers commenting with like, hey, auto gain is very difficult to get right and blah, blah, blah. They've just implemented it. So stop whining. It's possible. And yes, maybe it's hard, but there are more things that are hard. And if you want to raise the bar, it's not going to be easy. Second thing is that there's oversampling in there right now, which is because it's a distortion, coloration, saturation plugin, very important, and I'll show you why. There's now a bypass button built into the plugin, which is something that I am always whining about because the bypass button from Reaper is ugly. That's the only thing why. Updated output adjustment. I don't even know if I had any critics on that. There's now a free trial version, which was a huge problem for me, of course, because I always want to invite my viewers to test things themselves because that's the best way to figure things out. And if you only have to rely on reviewers, you can never really figure out if something is worth it. And with software, you have the option to create trials. Like with hardware, of course, it's difficult, but with software, yes. Neo redesigned a GUI. All good. And here is the most important promise that he is giving us. And this is something we, at least I want to keep him to that. And we're going to check out his website. Cut all previous advertisements, relaunching professionally developed non-annoying creatives. I think that's the best way to do it. And I'm actually, myself, right now I'm working, and this is a process of a few months, together with my new website and all my communication to the outside. I'm really looking at it like, okay, so most studios or a lot of studios or engineers are really like flashy and like, hey, look at me and all that kind of stuff, like really like the first sentence it always has something to do with multi-Grammy winning or whatever. I'm actually looking at the opposite. How can I make my own marketing and communication more down to earth and more about things that really matter? So I'm still working and struggling on that. And if you ever see something that might be not down to earth enough, make sure to send me an email or whatever, because I like to receive that feedback as well. So let's take a look at Rocket Powered Sound. Let's see what they are doing, because this was the website that constantly had Get Thickify Now in their store. And I mean, it's up to me to decide if I want to get it or not. And you don't have to remember me about that a lot of times. Oh, look, okay, so we've got one, Get Thickify now, Get Thickify now, Get Thickify now, Get Thickify now, Get Thickify now. So that's still on there. I mean, I don't have the data behind it or something, but I think if you have just one buy button, it's enough. On the other hand, if it works, like if it sells more like this from an A/B test, like, yeah, okay, maybe we humans do need that many buy buttons. Powerful plugin to quickly make bigger sounds, make your basses, synths, drums and more full, fat and alive instantly. Quickly add the perfect saturation and color to your sounds without sacrificing the dynamics. Bring more attention to the sounds that matter so you can elevate your overall mix. I think they're also explaining things a little bit better. Auto gain, yeah. Important things, some examples. Examples are really cool to just quickly look at okay, what is this doing? But if you really want to know if it's worth it for you, the trial is there. Free course included with Thickify. Yeah, there are actually so many courses, and I don't really think that a course is always the answer. Like sometimes there are some basics that you can learn, but there's also a lot of things that you have to learn from experience or from I don't know. Anyway, maybe I should do some snake oil around courses or something, but let me know if you want to see that. So yeah, let's take a quick look at the plugin. Again, I've reviewed it in the past, but now it's updated. So let's take a look. So this is now it. I think it has more controls now. So we've got thickness, stress, and drive. We've still got the funny guy over here, which is way better than certain different plugin. I'll link to it over here. I don't even want to name that plugin. This is the interesting part. We've got level, of course, but if auto is enabled, we shouldn't really need this level unless we need some extra gain for a different reason. Bypass, this kind of stuff. Well, let's test it and check it out. So we're not going too deep in the sounds and stuff. It's just the update that we're looking at. So if I remember correctly, when I did this in my other video, I went way louder. Yeah. Look at the difference. So it's a lot of gain that you're adding. Which now, I mean, if there's like a half a dB or something being added or whatever. The reason why I want to have auto gain is because of the workflow. You can hear it adjusting, by the way, but it's pretty well implemented if you ask me. Let's pick a different version from Sandstorm by the Root, of course. I know that a few people were already wondering what the track name was.
So you need a little break, huh? Boy, say you need a little space, yeah, boy.
Yeah, this is a little bit louder when it comes to loudness, but gain is still the same, like I'm not redlining or whatever. So really cool. Oversampling works so good that you're actually hearing it. Wow. That's a big difference. Now let's give you a quick refresher on why oversampling is so important. So I have a 1 kHz sine wave over here, as you can see, and the plugin is now basically doing nothing, should be doing nothing. And when I, of course, add gain, you see that we are adding harmonics, and harmonics are above the original signal. And already adding a lot of harmonics here. We're quickly already getting into the oversampling problem. Let's see if I can make it a little bit like this, yeah. So I'm adding harmonics here like, okay, these are all my harmonics. Beautiful harmonics, cool stuff. But there's a problem. Because what happens when you get to the end of your usable bandwidth, which is at 48 kilohertz, it's 24 kilohertz. It's half of your sample rate. That's your Nyquist frequency. When you get there, what basically happens, and it's all kind of complicated, but aliasing distortion happens. And how you can also call this, and this is an easier term, is you can call this fold back distortion. So if this is your Nyquist frequency, you can imagine that basically there are frequencies falling outside of your Nyquist in the unsamplable range. And because the computer can't handle it, those frequencies will fold back into the hearable spectrum. And we can see that if we go to our 10 kilohertz sine wave. So you can see here that the frequency is like, okay, this is your first harmonic, this is, well, not really your second harmonic, but now we're getting some other frequencies that have been folded back. And what is interesting is that apart from the fact that these resulting frequencies don't have a lot harmonically to do with the original frequency. They are also going in the other direction when there is something like a tremolo or something that is going up and down in pitch. And you can see this if I now turn up my pitch a little bit. Here, look at what is happening. Like it's going the other way and like all kinds of crap is happening. Now, of course, the more I drive something, the bigger the problems are going to be. Look at that mess. And again, look at this. Like this is all the crap that is happening that shouldn't be happening. There are a few ways to fix this, a few proprietary ways that I don't even know how they're doing this. But basically the easiest way to do this is by increasing our sample rate. So increasing our Nyquist so we can catch those frequencies that we weren't able to sample and catch before. So what we're doing is we're upsampling, which is called oversampling, then doing the processing so that the distortion frequencies are in a range that we can do something with. Then we are putting a filter in place. It's called an anti-aliasing filter, which is, by the way, also in all analog to digital converters. And then we're sampling it back to our source sample rate, in this case 48 kilohertz. And what then happens? It's like magic. Let me show this. With 2 times oversampling and 4 times oversampling, our foldback is getting way lower in volume. Now, of course, the higher the oversampling, the better you are able to catch this. I'm driving this pretty loud right now. And there's always a discussion about, and I want to be fair about this, there's always a discussion about what is audible and what isn't audible. And again, on a single sine frequency, things are more audible than, for instance, in a whole mix. And I actually talked to a developer about this, like, because I had the response like, hey, we only had inaudible results. And I'm like, okay, but what is inaudible and what isn't? But what you can see here is that the oversampling is suppressing those foldback harmonics by a lot. And that is why it's so important. And the more, and you can imagine this, the more distortion that you are applying, the more oversampling or something else to fix this. But I don't, again, it's sometimes proprietary. The more distortion you are applying, the more oversampling you are needing. So the more harmonics that are being created. But because imagine that, and we can maybe demo this by going to 100. Here you can see, like, the more I'm driving, the further my harmonics are going to go. So again, with being outside of the sampleable range, the more distortion, the higher the frequency of your harmonics are going to be. I mean, even at 100 hertz, we're now having some foldback distortion. So this is probably going to need like a 16 or 32 times overdrive. But the fact that it's in here already it gives me a lot of peace of mind that at least it has been thought about. And that's all that I wanted to say about this plugin. So yeah, check Thickify out and see if it's something for you. What is cool about these type of plugins, which is something that I just want to mention, is it really depends on if you need something like this. Plugins like these are, well, not really one trick pony, but are really focused on one thing and doing that thing very easily. And if you are in need for a color that Thickify can create, then of course check it out. On the other hand, if you want to have an very advanced distortion plugin, Thickify is not really the plugin to get. Then I would advise things like the Saturn from FabFilter. That's like, well, you can go super far into it and like you can do a lot of different things, but making a quick and cool sounding distortion is maybe a little bit more difficult in the FabFilter. While with Thickify, it's like you can get to a certain result way quicker. Check it out. I will link to Thickify, of course, down below. And there is a trial available, although I don't know where. Oh, here, demo version, 7-day demo. Cool. For the disclosure, I did buy Thickify for my last video. I wasn't in contact with Rocket Powered Sound. I now did get this plugin directly emailed to me by Shane from Rocket Powered Sound. I said to him in the email, and I think I also said it in the video, like, hey, if it's improved, I'm going to make a new video about it. So he knows that I'm making a video about it, but the content of the video is not disclosed to him or everybody else before I'm disclosing it to the rest of the world. He has no influence, in my opinion, in what I'm saying or whatever. And I like to keep it that way. So if you appreciate my independence, then make sure to support me. The support links are all down below. You can, of course, get merchandise, but it's kind of cold in here. So that's why I'm sometimes, covering my merchandise. Another way to support me is by using my affiliate links down below. So if you need equipment or something, make sure to first click my affiliate link and then purchase it in one of those shops. When you do that, a little bit of your purchase gets kicked back to me, and that way you're supporting it. It's actually the best way of supporting. So check it out. Another way to support me is by pledging a bit to my Patreon campaign, which I'm going to link over here. And on Patreon, you get early extra videos, answer your questions, and I only have 20 seconds of time to say this. So check it out. It's all on Patreon over here. Last way to support me and the whole YouTube platform is by watching more videos. So I'll link one of my videos over here. And if you don't want to see my videos, then YouTube will do its best to link videos from somebody else that you are probably interested in around this video. Now, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep pushing, and bye-bye.